because new polls are out and it doesn't look good for Kamala Harris. I have not been this worried in a long time. So we don't have a lot of time left. We have less than a month left, and she's now losing in almost all the swing states. So I'm going to go.
What the did he expect? What did they expect?
Break down all the numbers for you guys. They don't look great. I'm going to give you what people in D.C. are saying, Democratic Party are saying, Republican pollsters, everyone across the board, how are the markets doing, etc. First, look, I'm telling you this not, again, to ha-ha or whatever. I'm telling you because the pundits are almost always wrong. They never come back and tell you, oh, yeah, we got it wrong, etc. They don't tell you oftentimes ahead of time. They do Monday morning quarterback. They've, all those different things that they do wrong. The reason I tell you guys stuff ahead of time is so you can see whether I'm right or not. So you can see whether you should trust our analysis of what is reality, not what we want, but what is reality. So that's why in that context, let me tell you, 4 days ago, this weekend on October 5th, I wrote, I think Trump is going to retake the lead. Kamala started playing prevent defense with too small a lead. By having her surrogates tell everyone how pro-business she is, she accidentally gave up the mantle of the change candidate. That's what's going to decide this election. Now, she did other things wrong, too, and I'll get into that in a second. And but I started getting the same sense over the weekend that I got the weekend before the 2016 election. You go back and you read my tweets from that weekend, from November, early November of 2016, and I start saying, oh boy, a lot of signs are looking bad. I know Hillary Clinton has a big lead, but I'm super worried. Every spidey sense I have, every poll, every anecdote, not poll, the polls were mixed, okay, and Hillary Clinton was leading in the polls overall, but the underlying numbers were scaring me. So all of those things were leading me to go, watch out, warning. You remember what I said on election night in 2016 over and over again. Brace for impact, right? And so I hate to say that to you right now. And there's still plenty of time to turn it around. Not plenty of time, but some time. And I think she can turn it around because it's not like it's over. It's not like it's a blowout. No, she's got a small disadvantage in the swing states, but it is definitely a disadvantage. So let me start breaking it down for you guys. First, I'll start with the smallest piece of evidence, and I'll work up to numbers and the biggest piece of evidence. So Mark Halperin is a guy who was an establishment insider for a long time, was all over MSNBC and Morning Joe for a long time. He had personal issues, etc. You take this with a grain of salt, especially because he's talking about private polls. But he says that in all the private polls that he is seeing, she's now losing almost everywhere. So let me give you one of his quotes. He says, the conversation.
What did they expect? This is what we're going to say on November 5th. What did they expect? Please, y'all, go out and vote. Please, I'm asking everybody that's watching this video, if you haven't already, when it's time to go, when you're ready to go, as long as you go out and vote. We see tons of you have already casted your votes, early voting, but it has to be too big to rig, man. Too big to rig. And now that she's panicked, she's even panicked. They're shaking out their shoes right now. So now you're going to hear January 6th and that he's Adolf Hitler, or that he's a dictator. And you're going to continue to hear he's a threat to democracy. Y'all remember January 6th? Well, now obviously people don't care. And we tell Nancy Pelosi hands behind her back. And she also said that she won the primary. 0 votes, though. 0 votes. Most unpopular. But we've allowed everybody to play in our face. We've allowed the corrupt media to build a candidate. But all I can say is, what did you expect? And now you see people sounding the alarm.
I'm having with Trump people and Democrats with data are extremely bullish on Trump's chances in the last 48 hours. Extremely bullish. We think of the 7 battleground states. Which one is Harris in danger of losing? I would say Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, North Carolina.
That's the election. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, especially with Pennsylvania. Oh, that's it. That's it. Y'all get the band. Get the band. Y'all get the band ready. Touchdown. Get the band ready. We won the game. Well, we can't get complacent, y'all. We cannot get complacent. People see these polls. They see this. They see the betting market. They see. Go out and vote. Like we're losing. Bad.
Focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Okay, so just as I said in my video yesterday, Kamala Harris's job right now is to get people to the polls. You know, at this point, it's too late to salvage things. There's 2 weeks left to Election Day, and so it's really about turnout right now. Her previous job, of course, over the last couple of months, was to get some strong, good moments in the media. She scheduled a bunch of interviews and failed spectacularly, I'd argue, so that didn't work. But now that ship has sailed, people have essentially made their mind, at least most people, and the idea is you need to motivate people to show up and vote for you. That's the goal here. There's a shift in priority, but it seems as though, unfortunately for Kamala Harris, let's just say she's not exactly doing that great of a job. You know, usually as a political candidate, your job is to target specific demographics and bring them in, but all Kamala Harris is doing here ahead of election seems to be alienating key demographics that she needs to win this election. Of course, yesterday we were talking about the Catholic vote that she was alienating, and today we got to talk about the progressive left. Folks, the far leftoids just aren't having it with this embrace of Liz Cheney and the neocon right in general. You know, I could sit here and say a lot of words, but as they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Just look at the body language here of the TYTs Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian. It pretty much tells you all that you need to know. Let's have a conversation about it. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks. So here's the video from the Young Turks. Quote, Harris triples down on, in all capitals, awful strategy. Take a look at this.
Our only hope is that Trump just gives up. Like, and I don't mean like literally, of course he's not gonna do that, but he's kind of de facto doing it where he just melts, right? And he just is so unelectable that she wins, because this is hopeless. What is this? We're going back to the 1990s. I love Republicans. I love bipartisanship. Republicans have such good ideas. Might that encourage people to vote for them instead of you? And what Republicans are you talking about? See, they don't understand modern day politics at all. They're still, we're going to get the John McCain Republicans, the Dick Cheney, Mitch McConnell Republicans. No, those are corporate Republicans.
Exactly, perfect.
And those voters don't exist. So you think that because your donors are all corporate Republicans and corporate Democrats, that there's this giant subsection of the country that are like, oh my God, if she would just work with corporate Republicans to help big business, we'd vote for her. No, the undecideds are barely follow politics. They're not John McCain fans or Dick Cheney fans. They want you to help them. You need to be a populist to do that. So running towards these corporate Republicans is a disastrous strategy.
Donald Trump has increased his support among black voters. Why do you think that is? Anyway, I am going to go back to it. Even if, let's say, best case scenario for Kamala Harris, cozying up with neocons like Dick Cheney works out for her and gets her across the finish line. I need Democratic voters to please just explain to me, why is it that you guys really want the Democrat to win? If the Democrat is willing to open her administration up to neocons who do not possess the same values as us, right? If the Democratic Party becomes the new party of neocons, why do we care so much about getting the Democrat elected?
No, they have one.
I just need to understand. I need to understand because guys, okay, I don't care about the party's label. I care about what the party is going to do to make our lives better. And if the signaling right now is we're gonna be like the Bush era Republicans, what is the point?
I mean, you can't make this stuff up, and honestly, I really agree with the TYT here. It does seem, or it feels, like an awful strategy. We'll have to see on election day. Maybe the Democrats know something that I don't. But what it feels like is Kamala Harris is undergoing so many transformations and shifts. She doesn't know who she is. And it's getting harder and harder for people to relate. It's getting harder and harder for people to say, yeah, that's the person that represents my values. What does Kamala Harris represent? You know, at one point she refuses to condemn anything that Joe Biden did. She stated that she had no regrets and would do nothing different than what's been done over the last disastrous 4 years. But now she's saying, no, I'm totally different from Joe Biden.
Clearly, I am not Joe Biden, and I am certainly not Donald Trump. And what I do offer is a new generation of leadership for our country.
At one point, she's pro-open borders. No human is illegal. But now she's tough on the border, a real border hawk. She wanted to defund the police, known her entire career as a far-left lunatic district attorney and prosecutor. But now she presents herself as a tough cop. She was a far-leftist. But now all of a sudden she's a Republican? Or I guess we could call it Republican light? It's just so cringe and weird. But most importantly, it feels like bad strategy. It's like I keep saying, they want to have their cake and eat it too. But I don't think that's the way the world works. I think if you wear multiple masks at once, you run a pretty high risk of alienating people, and that seems to be exactly what's going on. You know, Kamala Harris needs to win the youth vote, but most importantly, she needs to motivate them to head to the polls. Young voters, of course, are very vocal, but they're also low propensity voters. They don't always show up. And we also know that young female voters in particular are extremely far left these days. And so what do you think that specific demographic is going to make of this whole Liz Cheney thing? Yeah, not exactly a good look now, is it? I don't really know what the strategy here is other than hashtag girl power or something along those lines. I just don't get who this is meant to convince. And I mean, speaking of convincing, Kamala Harris just wrapped up another event with Liz Cheney. I mean, she's really diving deep into this thing, and it's just honestly an utter disaster.
Warhawk, who got landslided out. And we know about her daddy. How about that, Dick? How about that, Dick?
You know, again, the same question. I'm sitting here asking myself, who is this convincing?
If I can just speak to what people are feeling. We cannot despair.
Boy. Yeah. If this woman's elected on November, the fix had to have been in. The fix is in if this wins. I'm just saying. I'm just being honest. The fix is in if this wins. Sorry. They could have done better. All I can say is, if it goes the way it should go, all I can say is, what did they expect? On November 5th, and when, you know, as soon as it dropped, and hopefully they get everything counted. We know what happened at 3 o'clock in the morning. But when it comes back, the first thing I want to say when it hits the fan, when I go, we might live stream it, whatever. All I want to say that day is, what did they expect? Did they not see it coming? Look at this campaign. The celebrities can't help you. She can't even help her own campaign. This is terrible. She can't complete a sentence. She think this is a game. She's laughing. Repeats the same thing. It's a word spaghetti, word salad. How the American people, dreams and aspirations. from when tomorrow, from yesterday, from the passage of time, from what can be unburdened from today and tomorrow. You know,
we cannot despair. You know, the nature of a democracy is such that I think there's a duality. On the one hand, there's an incredible strength.
Oh man, I know. Liz is rethinking her decision. I know, Liz. But then again, I know that Trump hatred, that Trump derangement syndrome is eating her alive. So it's just
when our democracy is intact. An incredible strength in what it does to protect the freedoms and rights of its people. Oh, there's great strength in that. And it is very fragile. It is only as strong as our willingness to fight for it. And so that's the moment we're in. And I say do not despair, because in a democracy, as long as we can keep it in our democracy, the people, every individual has the power to make a decision about what this will be. And so let's not feel powerless.
It's word salad nonsense, just a bunch of empty platitudes. Vote for me, the totally inarticulate, incompetent political chameleon. That's the only thing I'm getting. Vote for me, I'm real good friends with the Cheneys. What is the purpose? I mean, call me a nutcase, but it seems like the only person on the left who's got their head screwed on straight these days is Cenk Uygur. He tweeted this recently: "There's no force on earth that can get me to vote for Trump, but name a Cheney as your Secretary of Defense and I'll find another option." To all Democratic morons in DC, the entire country hates Dick Cheney. His favorability in the last poll was 13%. Please stop trying to lose. I share a similar perspective, but if you turn on the mainstream media, Liz Cheney is a hero.
She is a character almost out of the movies, out of A Man for All Seasons. I've never seen a more heroic figure than Liz Cheney. She lost her state probably forever. She lost her party. She lost her leadership in the Republican House. She could have been on her way to Speaker. It was very probable. She gave it all away in the interest of truth. That's what she stood for. It's amazing to me how few people have gotten behind her. But now one person that's got behind her is Kamala Harris. And those sitting together, those two women, as you say, on that stage is remarkable, because there's such courage there from Liz Cheney. And I cannot say anything that would stop me from saying she's been unbelievable.
You would never imagine Liz Cheney, a person who is from a Republican dynasty, a person who's not just from a family like the Bushes, conservative but crossover folks, the Cheneys. She is here standing arm in arm with Kamala Harris. That is really, really surprising. It's really brave. It's really impressive, and it's really important.
It's just unbelievable, and it's obvious what Kamala Harris is trying to do. She's doing exactly what she's done her entire career. Whatever it takes to get herself in that position of power. If that means essentially renouncing her entire political identity that she's crafted over multiple decades and now becoming a Cheney Republican, then she'll do it. Anything to become president. You know, again, it's just so absurd, and I don't see how this motivates the key voting demographics that Kamala Harris needs. You know, it feels like she's fighting to get the Cheney Republican vote. What is that, like 5 people? At the detriment, in a straight-up betrayal of the core demographics that would actually vote for her. Make it make sense. I don't know. Maybe there's something I'm not seeing here. Maybe there's some genius political calculus, some information that the Democrats have that we don't have. All I know is that if Donald Trump wins and Kamala Harris loses this election, I think as we look back on it, if all our analysis was correct, Kamala Harris will have run the worst mainstream campaign in modern American history. From the worst vice president to the worst presidential candidate. Wow, what a stellar track record. I guess CNN was right. She really is the most qualified person to ever run for office. Holy friggin' moly. But of course, I don't want to get too ahead of myself. We'll have to see exactly what happens. Anyways, that's pretty much.
I just hope and pray it goes the way it should go, so we can laugh at these celebrities. Laugh at the just laugh at at all the Diddy party participants. Yeah. All these frauds. We're going to have a good laugh. And the first thing we're going to say is, what did you expect? What did you expect? She couldn't complete a sentence. She sent Obama out there with his Superman cape. He out there sweating. He didn't sweat enough. He actually pissed off everybody. He pissed off men. He pissed off black people. He pissed off everybody. His time is up. He don't get a fourth term. You pulled Clinton out. You pulled Island Bill out of retirement. And he went out there and campaigned for Trump. He said they not vetting at the border. Lincoln Riley would have never happened if they were vetting at the border. She got these celebrities, Lizzo, in Detroit. And a couple seconds go by, there's a viral Trump ad from these celebrities. What? I love y'all, man. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel if you're new here. We keep it real. Hit that like button so more people can see this video if you haven't already. And share the video. But I think it's over, man. But we can't get complacent. Make sure you go out and vote. We have to go out and vote. I don't care if it says he's winning 7. I don't care if it's a landslide here. If the polls say this, that. We can't trust it. We can't trust it. Go out and vote. I love y'all, and I will catch you beautiful people in the next one, man. Peace and love, y'all.